begin to talk about more work comp issues and questions that we've been asked kind of periodically and more commonplace from our clients. Today's going to be one that we don't necessarily get asked about, but we're going to talk about what to do at the beginning of the claim. And what that means is from the point in time when you get injured until you even talk to us, because there's some critical steps that can be done before you even meet with an attorney.
I think the reason we picked this topic, this is really, really important. This video is for what happens right when you get injured. So when we were discussing this topic, I was telling Matt, it's really common to just hope something's going to go away, right? You get hurt, you don't want it to be a big deal, you just hope that things are going to go okay. So a lot of our clients come to us after they've made the decision not to report it immediately. They wait to see if the injury goes away, and then they try to come back. That creates so many problems down the road that have to be fixed. So if there is one thing you take from this video, and we'll talk about it more, but it is so important, just report it. Whether or not it's going to be a big deal, you can deal with down the road. Report it immediately.
So let's talk about reporting it. So reporting it means to report the injury to your supervisor, your immediate supervisor, or if there's someone else you've been instructed to report injuries to that person. Do so in writing. I cannot stress that enough, because one of the most common things that we deal with is our clients will come and say, well, I told so-and-so, and I can assure you that so-and-so is not going to verify that you told him or her about this injury. So do so in writing. Just a simple statement, hey, I was in the walk-in cooler, I slipped and fell and hurt my elbow. You date it, sign it. What I advise is to take a picture of that that'll have a date stamp on it so that we know that you gave it to them on that day. And then that will get the process at least sort of started.
It's a huge deal. I mean, I'll let Matt talk about this too, but I can't tell you how many times I've been in court and my clients testifying that they told a supervisor. The supervisor will come to court and say, no, I never heard it. You won't believe it because you've told them, and you will think that people are honest and will get up there and tell the truth. And I will tell you many times I've been on the stand where people testify to the opposite. You get into a he said, she said, where you're flabbergasted thinking this person will testify that you told them, and they don't. So the writing is key. That is the piece of evidence that just establishes what happened, when it happened, and how it happened.
The other part about that is that the trial that Eric is talking about when she says we go to court, it's called a hearing in work comp, but essentially it's a trial, the work comp trial. That trial isn't going to happen for months and months and months down the road. Most likely somewhere between 4 and 6 months after the date of injury. So even though you know your supervisor you think you guys have a good relationship, and maybe hopefully you do, things change after you've alleged an injury. And so getting something in writing at least kind of pinpoints down, like Eric is saying, a date, a time, a circumstance that we can hold on to, and that the employer was notified in the event that they try and change your story down the road. The other part about that is if anybody's there, a coworker or a customer, anyone, I've had customers, my clients have customers, write out witness statements. If you can do that, that's fantastic. Hey, just jot something down on, whatever the day is. I saw Jane Doe slip and fall, and that's sufficient, sign and date, because similar to the supervisor maybe changing his or her story or misremembering the event that you told them about come trial time, witnesses will kind of do the same thing. So locking them in a written format is important for the claim.
So we'll get into treatment, I think, in a different video. We'll keep this about reporting, but I think another piece of information that is often overlooked that you should be aware of. In work comp, a lot comes down to what we call the mechanism of injury. How did it happen? And they will get into distinct and exact explanations of how your body fell, what body parts were injured, what body parts hit the ground, what type of flooring you may have been standing on. The specifics and the details of how you got injured are of huge importance. In fact, medical experts often testify whether that mechanism of injury could have caused the types of injuries they're seeing on scans, MRIs, those kind of things. So you want to be very detailed and specific and consistent about the mechanism of injury, how you got injured.
Additionally, this is real quick about the medical component of reporting. In the statement that you write to your supervisor, you're going to give to your supervisor, put in there, I am requesting to receive medical treatment for my whatever injury it is. The employer then should send you to a doctor at that time. That's another form of verification of the mechanism of injury, which is after you go see the doctor, hey, today I slipped and fell in the walk-in cooler and I hurt my elbow. Now we have two forms. We have your statement that you gave to your supervisor, maybe a witness statement, maybe not. We also have the doctor verifying what you've put in the statement to the supervisor.
And I think a last important component of that is to not focus on the primarily injured body part, but all body parts. If you're hurt, if you fell on your elbow, but you also feel kind of a strain in your neck, you need to be over-inclusive, not under-inclusive. That what you say at the beginning of the case and how you say it dictates the course of the case. So I think to close this subject, or as a big takeaway from this, report immediately
In writing,
thoroughly, and explain how it happened, and don't not report. Even if nothing comes of it, you'll be glad you did it down the road. Thanks.